for Bermuda, and of course, cousin Derek.
All right.
The Progressive Labor Party believes in leadership that is rooted in service, community, and a commitment to improving the lives of every Bermudian. This election is about the future of our island and ensuring that those placed in positions of leadership are people who represent those values and will help to make Bermuda a fairer place. Since coming into office, his government has taken decisive action to make Bermuda a place where opportunity is within reach for everyone. We have invested record amounts in affordable housing. We have reduced taxes for 86% of workers and every local business. We have introduced Bermuda's first ever minimum wage. We have ensured that we increase our pensions for our seniors by the rate of inflation, and we have delivered our promise to expand childcare assistance in Bermuda. But we recognize that to continue to deliver a fair Bermuda, we need leaders that are rooted in their communities, understand the challenges that people face, and have a track record of delivering solutions. So today, I am proud to announce that the Progressive Labor Party have chosen someone who is that kind of leader as our candidate for constituency number 5, filling the shoes of someone whose shoes are difficult to fill. Cousin Derek has served his community and his country. He has been a member of parliament since 1998. He has served previously as the president of the Bermuda Industrial Union, has served as minister, deputy speaker, counselor to many, cousin to all, and I want us to take the time today in this Alaska Hall to thank him for his service. So as we say goodbye to cousin Derek as an MP, certainly not goodbye to cousin Derek in the Progressive Labor Party. As he said, he was PLP all his life, all the way. We welcome the new candidate for constituency number 5, Hamilton East, Pastor Leroy Bean. Leroy Bean is no stranger to service. He has dedicated his life to empowering those who need it most. As the founder of Cartel, challenging and reclaiming the true essence of life, he has gone beyond words. He has created programs, resources, support systems that address the root cause of violence and help to uplift our communities. In 2017, he was appointed Bermuda's Gang Violence Reduction Coordinator. He took on one of the most challenging jobs in the country, approached it with courage, compassion, and resolve. He was instrumental in developing Bermuda's National Violence Reduction Strategy, which was recently passed in the House of Assembly. This comprehensive strategy aims to address the root cause of violence, from economic hardship to intergenerational trauma, while focusing on prevention, intervention, and rehabilitation. This work is pivotal in creating safer and stronger communities and is a testament to the government's deep commitment to fostering peace and opportunity across our island. But Pastor Bean's work does not start or stop at violence reduction. Through his church, Transfiguration Ministries, and the Transfiguration Safe House for Substance Abusers, he has extended a hand to those that are battling addiction, homelessness, and other challenges. He has been a voice of compassion and action, providing counseling, mentorship, and advocacy for countless Bermudians. And I can say that you have helped members of my family, and I've seen the work of which you've done personally in trying to assist, and I'm grateful for your service. Leroy Bean understands the struggles that many in our community face. He faced challenges himself and did the work to turn his life around. He used his experiences to make a difference, becoming an ordained bishop, a counselor, and a relentless advocate for change. He holds a PhD in psychology and counseling with a concentration on trauma and crisis, and a master's in government, public policy, and law. He also served as an addiction counselor for various organizations and trained as a trauma specialist. earning certifications in disaster management, restorative practices, and crisis counseling. Got that wrong. Bishop Bean is a public author and a dynamic international speaker who uses his platform to discuss issues that matter to our youth and our island. Hamilton East deserves a representative who understands its challenges and has the vision and experience to tackle them. And I know that the people of Hamilton East, having had Cousin Derek for the last 26 years, know that they want an MP that is ever present inside of their community. Bishop Bean believes, as the PLP does, that Bermuda's strength lies in its people. His record of service and his deep connection to this community made him the ideal candidate to represent Constituency 5. I have no doubt that Bishop Bean will bring the same dedication and passion to the House of Assembly in this constituency that he has brought to every role he has had. So PLP family, please join me in welcoming today Bishop Leroy Bean as the Progressive Labour Party candidate for Constituency number 5. You got a whole room of standing ovation.
Yeah. As protocol has already been established, good afternoon to all that is in the room, especially my family, my church family. I thank you for coming out, and friends, my work colleagues at the back. I appreciate working with you. I first of all want to thank God for making this opportunity possible. The Premier, my family, the constituents of C5. Today is a moment of profound gratitude, humility, and purpose. I stand before you as a servant of God and the people of Bermuda. I am humbled by the trust placed in me to represent the proud and resilient community of Hamilton East as your new Progressive Labour Party candidate. I must first pay homage, has already been done, to the Honorable Derek Burgess, a man whose tireless dedication and unwavering commitment to this constituency, our beloved Bermuda, has set a standard of excellence. So that's going to be a hard one to follow. His leadership has been a beacon, and I am determined to honor his legacy by carrying forward the torch to progress. But this is not just a moment for me, it is a moment for us. For Hamilton East is more than just a constituency. It is a family. And like any family, we have our strengths and our struggles and our shared dreams. For years, I have walked amongst you, not as a politician, but as a pastor, a community servant, and your brother. And I look into the eyes of the young man caught up in this deadly grip of gang violence. I have embraced mothers and fathers who have grieved for their sons and for their daughters they have lost. I have stood on the front lines as Bermuda's gang violence reduction coordinator, not just to fight against violence, but to fight for the healing of our people, our families, and our future. We must confront the root of our pain. This transgenerational trauma has left too many of us feeling broken, abandoned, and forgotten. It is not enough to say, stop the violence. We must understand why and where it began. We must ask ourselves why so many of our young people feel they have no place. There's no place in society. And then we must rise together to create a future where every child knows their value, every family feels supported, and every community is safe. My work has always been about transformation. turning pain into purpose, despair into determination. Whether counseling a young man on the brink of destruction or bringing together rivals to build peace, I have seen what is possible when we choose hope over hatred and unity over division. But let us be clear, healing alone is not enough. We need action. We need investment into education, as we've been doing thus far, to the inspiration of our children and to prepare them, to build the inspiration of our children, to prepare them for future opportunities. We need affordable housing that gives every family the dignity of a place to call home. Yeah. We need to strengthen our mental health services because healing our hearts is as important as healing our bodies. And we need jobs, good, meaningful jobs that allow our people to build a future in the land that we love. And it is those reasons that I believe that the PLP is the best choice to take us forward into a fair Bermuda for all of us. Hamilton East, I do not come with empty promises or political platitudes. I come as a man that has had your struggles, share your burdens, and work tirelessly for change. Today, we can be an example for Bermuda, a community that rises from adversity, that chooses compassion over conflict, and builds future to root in justice, opportunity, and love. So today, I say to you, let us walk this journey together. Let us honor the legacy of those that came before us, while building a brighter tomorrow for those yet to come. Yeah. Let us commit to the work of transformation, not just in Hamilton East, but for all Bermuda. The time is now. The place is here. And the people of Hamilton East will lead the way. Thank you. And may God bless you all as we walk steadily forward to build a fairer Bermuda for all of us.
Good afternoon, Bishop Bean. Gray Miners, Bermuda Broadcasting. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Have you had a chance to start canvassing yet or putting together your canvassing strategy? And if you have, what's that going to look like?
I believe that, we actually have put together a canvassing strategy, and last night we were out just touching base with some of our constituents. Basically, we're going to continue what we've been doing for the last 20-something years. I believe we made an impact in the area of Hamilton Parish, and to sway from that there would not be advantageous for us.
If I could, Greg, Bishop Bean is being very modest. Yeah. And the reason why his constituents were laughing is because Bishop Bean has been canvassing with Cousin Derek for the last, how many years?
20 years.
So in that case, they have canvassed together. Typically, we have branch chairs here. He serves the branch chair for constituency number 5.
Thank you. How do you gauge the success to date of the gang violence reduction team?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I mean, if you do it from a quantitative standpoint, I believe it's success there. And if you do it from a qualitative standpoint, there is success there, telling stories. When you look at statistics and you start to break them down, I believe that it speaks for itself. And when you hear the stories of the young men and women and families, I believe that speaks for itself as well.
Thank you. Last question for you from me. How will you separate your approach as a pastor to the secular skills required as a politician?
Well, I don't personally believe that politicians are secular as much as everyone might believe. I believe when we go into biblical scripture, to reign and to rule, it actually comes from the term politics. It means to govern. And if it means to govern, and that's what we were created to do, I don't believe it's a separation.
Thank you.
Ms. Henderson, what you got?
Good afternoon, Pastor Bean.
Yes.
So I know you're aware, the last year that we had been quite bad for violence, just both in terms of gang violence and just general violence. And given that obviously this is the start of the new year, has the previous year changed your approach in how you plan to tackle this sort of violence, particularly as a running candidate? And in other words, otherwise, how has that impacted your campaign strategy?
I believe that my team, and which a few of them, just in the back there, I believe that we have a very effective approach. One of the things that we look into that many people can't see on the outside is dealing with the systemic root of what causes things. So the transgenerational trauma that's normally passed. So we go into families and we start to do deep counseling with these individuals. And I believe that that's what some of the results of gang violence has come from systemic issues that we need to address.
Mm-hmm. And these are obviously very long-term solutions, and it sounds like you have employed both long-term and short-term solutions going forward. But have you started to see any of those long-term solutions start to pay off? If so, in what way? And if not, when do you hope to see them pay off?
Well, I've seen some of these long-term solutions pay off. And when I say that, I've been doing this here from cartel for over 20-something years. And so I've seen families. And when you start to look at transgenerational trauma, you can go back almost 3 to 4 decades of generations of families. And so I've seen the change from grandparents to the parents, to the child. I've seen change, because what happens is anytime we start to change the mindset of an individual, especially those that are the caregivers, it's so easy and more effective to deal with the young people.
Mm-hmm. And finally, I know that you're saying that you've been canvassing with Cousin Derek for years, but one of your one of your previous fellow candidates said that there are no safe seats. And now that you will be kind of taking the reins after a stalwart, it sounds like there's almost a bit of a power vacuum, that things are up for grabs. What do you have, at least in terms of policy, that you think puts you over your other potential candidates?
Well, first of all, I believe that, I built relationships with the constituents. That's number one. But I also address, as I just spoke to you, the systemic system. I believe that one of the problems that we do have is that many people get involved in politics, and they come from a superficial standpoint and deal with a lot of peripheral issues. And so every 10 years or whatever, you'll see the circles start to take place. And so I believe I offer something to address, as I just said to you, the systemic issues and the residue that has came from systemic issues, whether it be structural racism, whether it be structural abuse, whether it be looking and teaching them about how trauma is transferred from the epigenetic marks that come both biogenically and also epigenetic.
And I guess, again,
If I may just add one thing on that, because I think it's very important. There are no safe seats. And the only reason why people consider Hamilton 5 a safe seat is not due to anything else, but due to the work of this man right here. Let us not forget, Hamilton Parish was once represented by all United Bermuda Party MPs. So it is work, and that's where the things come from, work. And one thing, Cousin Derek is out there all the time, and Bishop Bean will be out there all the time as well. It's work in connection with communities that build the seats. And so when people say that, oh, this is a PLP safe seat, et cetera, all the rest, that is because Progressive Labor Party members have formed relationships inside of those communities to make sure that they connect with the voters, and the residents, not just at election time, but all the time around.
I think my final question, again, following the particularly violent year that we had in 2024, there might be some who might fear the work of the Gang Violence Reduction Act and the success that has come through. Would you say that following that the year that we had was perhaps happenstance, or is it more of a reflection of potentially some deeper issues that you were planning to address?
I believe that the situations or the actual fatalities that took place over the last year, I believe a lot of them was, and I think sometimes we as a team are very mindful of what we say, but some of the things were intentional, because of other layers of situations that the public or no one else actually knows about. And some things, whether people believe it or not, just not no genie to be there when it's getting ready to happen, when other things have been taking place all along, whether it be the robbery, whether it be drugs, or whatever it might be. So we have to be honest with ourselves of why they take place. And then there's another issue that seems to go under radar, the responsibility of parents. Because we have a tendency to put all the responsibility on everybody else rather than to deal with the issue themselves.
Mm-hmm. So you say that this is more of this has been a collaborative issue, and the things that happened in the previous year, those were more of a failing, not necessarily failing, but a misstep of things outside of your remit.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I think it's also important to note, Sekou, and something that we said on this particular issue, is that Bermuda did not get to the challenges that are faced when it comes to violence overnight. And as you recognize yourself that a lot of these matters are long-term. And so we know that we can see changes. I have seen changes in the impact of the work that Bishop Bean has done with persons inside of my constituency and persons inside of my circle who are on the wrong path. And those interventions are happening. Those are not the things that ever do make the headlines. But I think it's one thing that is important to note is that if you look at other overseas territories who are seeing increases in levels of violence, whether that be the Cayman Islands or whether that be Turks and Caicos and others. Whereas for us, we are seeing stability and also an overall top line level of decrease in crime. But here's the thing, one murder, one incident is too many. Yeah. And we are going to continue to remain committed to making the investments on that side. But when it comes to the people of Hamilton East, constituency number 5, we are talking about an election for the persons to represent people inside of that seat. And out of the candidates that have been announced, there is no better candidate than this gentleman right here to represent those persons.
I think that's actually a good place to take on because
I was going to do you, Trevor, but go on, say you can have
sorry.
more.
Sorry, this is my very last one. But because these are long-term, and it's harder to see something that isn't there than to see things that are there. Will the Gang Violence Reduction Program be potentially putting together a reflection, possibly within the basically statistics of what is seen in the last 10 years or so, and otherwise showing where the rate of crime has gone, perhaps a decrease?
That's with Dr. Burgess.
I see.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you.
If you like it, what happened with your position as gang violence reduction leader?
Well, Trevor, I'll cross that bridge when it actually happens, and I will consult with the necessary parties to get the advice, and then I will make an informed decision that will benefit Bermuda at large.
As the gang violence reduction leader, you've come under heavy scrutiny, under the firing line. How has that made you as an individual?
One thing I do, I stay focused to the task. And I think that's what's helped me, staying focused. I can see the results. My team can see the results. So it doesn't sway me based on, sometimes the comments of other people, especially when they're not there and I don't see them. So when I get out of my bed 2, 3, 4 in the morning and I've left my family home and I don't see anybody else out, but yet, just me and my team. So I don't pay that anymore.
Amen.
Desmond Proctor was announced a few days ago as C5 FDM fighting for the same seat. How do you see this individual? What might you say about this individual?
I really don't have anything. I wish him the best, in his endeavors, so I don't really have anything to say about him or any of the other candidates. I'm just saying focus. As the scripture says, I'm staying on the wall, I'm building, I'm not coming down.
All right.
You know the area like the back of your hand. As stated, I've seen you out there for the last 4 or 5 elections, canvassing with cousin Derek. What are some of the concerns you're hearing at the doorstep?
Well, I actually stay in the heart of Constituency 5, actually. And some of the same things that have been happening for years, dealing with their children, dealing with housing, dealing with financial disparities and so on. So it's a lot of things that are happening within the neighborhood that are very consistent throughout Hamilton Parish, and I would say Bermuda at large.
That's it. All right. Well, this concludes our press conference. I want to once again thank you, Cousin Derek, for your many years of service to the people of Hamilton East, and congratulate you, Pastor Leroy Bean, for carrying the torch for Progressive Labor Party in constituency number 5. Thank you.